Come on in, welcome to my home. A lot of people have asked me what a typical day in my life is being a caretaker. Well, a day is like relative. So what I thought I would show you instead is what a typical week is like in my life. Now I'll cut out a lot of the boring parts and a lot of the parts where mom she's not really ready to be on camera, but I can explain to you what's happened. So like right now it is about 7 a.m. I've just had breakfast. I'm getting ready to go over to mom's, not to necessarily make her breakfast, but to make sure that she actually eats something. Sometimes I need to make her breakfast, sometimes I don't, but the big thing about her right now is she needs to gain some weight, so we have to make sure that she actually eats. Now all of this is being done while I myself am running my iRobot or Roomba, so that I can run it over here and not have to worry about vacuuming my house while I'm over there, because anywhere that I can save some time, I try to save myself some time and do dual things, because in a typical week, as I said last week about how much time is spent and what people actually do when they're caregiving versus what people think that they're doing, haven't seen that video, do check that out, it'll be linked somewhere. It's very important to try to maximize the amount of time that or amount of stuff that you're doing in one given moment. I can run the iRobot over here, or the Roomba over here, and have it vacuum while I'm over at mom's, but let me go over there and make sure that she's eating. Okay, 30 minutes later, and she has eaten, and we're getting ready to take her to her physical therapy. No, today's a doctor's appointment. Tomorrow's physical therapy. She has a doctor's appointment. So I need to take a shower, she's getting dressed, I need to shower, and I also still have to do things for YouTube so that I can post the stuff which is going to be ready for this week. So let me get the shower first. Alright, once I'm done with the shower, it's now time to put away my dishes, and I'm going to try not to show you too many of these rinse and repeat things where you'll see me do the same thing over and over and over again. Like I said earlier, I'll just tell you about it. But yeah, so I put away my dishes as mom's getting ready so that we can get to this doctor's appointment. This doesn't take long, and these are just my dishes from my breakfast smoothie, so that's a thing. As you can see, I'm going to get groceries today. I have them already ordered, so I have to pick them up today. And then, what else is there to do today? Well, let's see. One of the big things to remember is the fact that since I do YouTube videos, today is actually a recording day. So yeah, in all of this, so in between going to the doctor and picking up groceries this afternoon, I've got to record. For you, you will have already seen this video, but I've got to record the video for the week and then hopefully edit it today. However, I am prepared to, if I can't get around to editing it today, I can edit tomorrow, but right now I need to get onto the computer so that I can then answer comments and also check a few things and make sure that I have all the information that I need to record the video, which I'm doing today. If you're thinking that all of this can get very confusing, it can. When you consider that I'm getting all the mom stuff taken care of, and then doing this video, doing my video for the week, and also if you're part of Patreon or the memberships, you get a vlog, a weekly vlog, which I'm also doing. So I'm trying to keep all of these things separate today. Now normally I would not be doing you as the extra video because it would just be the one video, but I need you so that when I do the voiceover for next week, I have the B-roll. If that makes any sense. I hope so. This is what I'm going to do, is make sure that I have everything all set up for this week's video. So let me get to that. And also probably answer comments. We have to leave in a few minutes to go to the doctor's appointment. Alright, 1 hour later, and we're back home. So this isn't an every week thing. In fact, the next visit is going to be in a month for the doctor. But he did say that she's not supposed to even attempt to drive for a month until he sees her again. So if she ever drives again, we will see. But as of right now, no. So now we get to work on the video for this week's video. See if I can get this right. Come on in, welcome to my home. Today, you are not doing anything. Well, you are... Okay, time-wise, today became pretty crazy. Because between filming the video, editing the video, which is really boring. I don't know why people think watching me edit is exciting, because it's not. Then, straight from editing the video, because I also had to stop and get groceries, and straight from doing all that, I did dinner. From dinner, came back home, and started uploading the video. So then tomorrow will be all, we'll be doing closed captioning and doing that sort of stuff. That's sort of boring. But in tomorrow's thing is also, you'll get to see this. We're also physical therapy, a beauty appointment for Mom, and then one of her friends is coming over, and yeah. I mean, tomorrow isn't going to be too bad, but it's something. Okay, so it is almost time for me to bring Faith over. That gives Mom like a half hour of rest from the dog who loves to jump around and bark. Then I will put Faith to bed, and this is the infamous, I'll say goodnight to Mom, and that's it. Now, because when she first fell and hurt herself, I would go over, and it actually became an issue. I would go over, now to get Faith. Then I would go back over, put Faith to bed. Then, before I went to bed, I'd go back over and check on her. She doesn't need that. She doesn't need that now. But I was the one who decided she didn't need that. She didn't. But it was just I go to bed fairly early, because I go to bed about 9. So it seemed ridiculous. But yeah, so yay. I'm tired. I don't know how much I will show you of this evening, because it's just me and Faith sitting around watching TV till she goes to bed. And it gets dark in here, because I don't know if you can tell this, because I'm sure the camera's making it brighter. It is dark in here. It's in the evening. It's almost 8 o'clock. So yeah. This is the boring part. And what's interesting about this is, it's just like the infamous, well, okay, so this morning, realistically, it was get all the videos uploaded, all those things, and I'm recapping something you've already seen, but get all those things done, take Mom to her appointment, come back, try to film some videos, get groceries, come back and film some more videos, get dinner, come back, we went for a ride, come back, and then finish editing. And then, at 6:30, it's done. And then tomorrow is not as busy of a day, but I do have one bizarre thing that I have to do tomorrow, which is going to be sort of hard, because it's going to come all down to timing. But you're going to have to wait for a few seconds. For you, for me, it'll be a day to find out about that. First thing is to drop Mom off at her physical therapy appointment for the day, and then get back home to do other things. We use HelloFresh to prepare our meals 4 days a week. HelloFresh is delivered right to us from FedEx, I guess, and then we just use it to prepare the meals. Now, what you are seeing is a very cut down version of this. While most of it is done in real time, it is cut down, and I found that it generally takes about an hour to get all the meals completely done and ready to go on the table. Sometimes it's down to 45 minutes, other times it can go longer, but I wanted to include this simply because it's one of those things that you have to account for. You have to account for as quick and easy as you think it's going to be. It will take some time, and when you have a really, really busy day, like I did today, you're going to want to take that time to prepare your meals, and you're going to also need that time to get all the meals done and onto the table. Now, HelloFresh gives you all the directions that you need, and yes, there is a link below in the description that will take you to, I think, some sort of discount program or something which would also help me do more save some money on HelloFresh, but also I think will help you save some money on HelloFresh. This is not sponsored and not advertisement. I just love HelloFresh and the meals that they make. Now we're ready for wash, rinse, and repeat. It's laundry day. Doing laundry is something which everybody has to do. Now with Mom, I do not have to do her laundry, but I do have to do my other work, which involves working on the computer, then also getting laundry done, working back on the computer, trying to get the laundry folded, getting it put away once it is all folded. And this can take quite a bit of time. And everybody who's done laundry knows that you don't spend all of your time just watching it get done, but you do spend quite a bit of your time doing it and putting it away and all those fun sort of things. That's what makes trying to do stuff very interesting, because it's trying to get all of the stuff done in the amount of time that you have to get it done, while you're also doing things for other people, because once laundry's done, it's back to the computer, so that then I can make dinner, and once dinner is done, we're ready to go back to the computer. Then the next day it is time to change my bed, make sure that Mom's bed is done, and then we still have laundry to do, because once all the bedding is done, the laundry has to be done, it has to be washed and put away. And the interesting thing about this whole video, watching this as I was watching it play back and editing it, is seeing how much time it really does take and how much time I have cut out of this video, which is just amazing, because a lot of it has been edited out, because there's so much that one does in a day, and I'm not even hitting onto the stuff which normally involves, more than one person doing something. A lot of this is the stuff that I have to do, because once my stuff is done, I have to hurry up and then get Mom's stuff done. And it can take a lot of time in the morning and making sure that everything gets done, or you're just going to have a tendency to just say, nope, I can't do this, I don't have time to do it, and then it just goes by the wayside. It's very easy to just say, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, and let it go. But that's one of the things that they will warn you about, that people don't really understand, that when you're caring for somebody, you aren't just doing your stuff, you're also doing their stuff. And that's twice the amount of work, but a lot of people are saying, well, if you have children, you're doing that also, which is true. However, your children are very rarely telling you how they expect things to be done, and if you don't do it a certain way, they will get very, very upset with you. Now, some children will do that, but not most. Then once everything is all washed and everything, the sheets get folded, and then once they get folded, of course, you have to not just leave things out, because when you're caring for somebody, the worst thing that you can do is leave a project half done, because once it's half done, it's just something waiting to have something else added onto it. So you put your sheets away, get everything done, and hopefully everything is done for the time. Alright, a classic example of how things become more complicated and it takes so much longer than what you think. So this morning I went to drop off Mom at the therapist appointment. It's her physical therapy. So then I could come back up here, it's just right over the hill, no problem. So I started on my next project, which was laundry. Then at about 20 till, I got a phone call saying that she was ready to be picked up. I'm like, well, that's 20 minutes early, but okay, fine. So I stopped what I was doing, go down there, go in to pick her up, and they're like, oh no, she has another about 10, 15 minutes. So instead of, coming back home, so that way I could wait here, so that way in like 7 minutes I could leave and go back down, I waited in their parking lot for her to get done. And it's just like, are you kidding? And then it became another one of those when we got home, like, well, so what are you having for lunch? Oh, I don't know. And then it becomes the whole issue of her trying to decide what she wants for lunch. And that is a problem, because it's just like she's not wanting to make decisions which then leads me to do the whole stand around for 5 minutes as I suggest things. She doesn't want them, till finally I'm just like, you have to pick something. So she picks something which involves us driving across town to get what she wants, then driving back. But when we come back, we also have to stop and get the mail because the mail has to be gotten at that moment. And it's just like, so what could have been really simple, I drop you off at the physical therapist, I do my project, I pick you up, turns into I drop you off at the physical therapist, and then we wait around. So now, let's see if I have this. So a whole hour has now been wasted, and still we don't even have the thing for, she still needs to get groceries. She hasn't done her grocery list because, you know, she just wasn't feeling it, she didn't know what she had, she hadn't checked yet, and it's just like, so that is now going to be a whole separate trip, which then cuts into the time that I've got to do things. So that becomes its own problem when you're trying to get things done that you need to get done and somebody else needs you to do things for them, and they're not thinking about the fact that you still have things that you have to do. So it's about 1 o'clock. I have about 3 hours to get done about 6 hours worth of stuff, and then I have to start making dinner. This will be fun, I tell you, fun. I can say that I was surprised at how much of this I actually cut down, or cut out, or just decided that it's not that interesting of content, because a lot of what a caregiver does isn't really all that interesting. It's not the glamorous things. I mean, you saw me do laundry, you saw me make a meal. Making a meal is just like making a meal. Now do that 6 days a week, that's cool. Taking mom to the doctor, and that was a really interesting thing when I was thinking about doing that part of the video, was the fact that even though it does not involve me, I take her to the doctor, I drop her off, I do not live that far from her doctor's appointments, although the one we went to on Monday, I did stay for that appointment. But her physical therapy appointments, I don't have to stay. I can drop her off. It's about a minute down and a minute back. However, as I said before, it's a minute down and a minute back, but there's not a lot of things that you can actually do in that amount of time, because you want to get down there so that she doesn't have to wait, that sort of thing. And okay, that's no problem. Then there's always the groceries, where she and I generally get groceries separately, sometimes together, but separately. But doing that run to the grocery store and back, that takes up even more time. And then there's a lot, and I mean a lot of waiting for decisions, waiting for stuff to happen, just waiting around, or a lot of this has to be done now. And you have your two choices. You can either say no and end up in an argument, or do it and you end up resentful. That's not good either way. I do understand that a lot of this comes from losing one's independence, which is really hard. To go from having to be completely independent to having to be dependent upon somebody, that is really, really rough. But it also has to be a two-way street on this, because when you're doing the caregiving, you really do. You're trying to make somebody else's life easier, but they're not really thinking about how they can make your life easier. They might tell you things about how much they value you and how many things are like, you know, how they couldn't do things without you. But when push comes to shove, sometimes people are like, well, yeah, I really value you, but here's this thing which I want to have done, not need to have done. I want to have it done at this time when it doesn't need to be done then, but it's when I want it to be done. You need to figure out the rest of your life so that it can work around me. And that's a problem. Now, for some people, it's just like, there's no other choice. You can't do that. They can't do anything about that, so everybody is stuck. But for others, it is one of those, you know, you're just imposing your life and not just saying, hey, when you can get around to this, this would be really great. I'd like to have it done by here. If you can't, I do understand. But watching that, it was really weird to see, you know, 6 meals being made, to see all these trips and everything, and to know that out of my day, and don't forget, I am still working YouTube basically as a full-time job, and so, yeah, I mean, I have great admiration for single parents. It is amazing what parents can do these days. But be prepared. Being a full-time caregiver or being a caregiver can be a lot of stress, a lot of scheduling, a lot of things where you are not 100% running, doing, but you are checking on the bills, you are changing light bulbs, you are making sure that everything is gathered in together. And that's what I was hoping I could try to show, but a lot of that is one of those things where there's not a whole lot to show. How interesting is it to watch me sit at a computer for hours at a time? Not that interesting. Well, let me know, how does your life go being a caregiver, trying to get your everything on track? What's that like for you? How does it work? Because I would like to know, what do you do in your week? And let me know down in the comments. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope I get to see you the next time you stop by.